Oh, hello there, everybody. Welcome to Always Off Brand. We take e-commerce, we simplify it. We take retail, simplify it. We throw in a whole big bag of fun. We do all kinds of stuff with all kinds of things. I'm one of your hosts, Scott Hoshman, and I'm joined right now at the moment, Haley Brucker. Haley Brucker in the news. God dang it, how are you? God darn it.
Scott, it's been too long. You've been like on the road. You took the show on the road, friend, and you have just been like pounding that pavement, putting the episodes out. I have a little bit of FOMO. I think Summer does too. But you've been killing it out there. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much. That's kind of you. 10 shows are officially out and published. 10 shows from E-Tail Boston. I say this all the time on the Linky. I cannot thank enough Lena Moriarty, all the people at E-Tail making that happen.
Yeah.
Chet, Mr. E-Tail. I mean, I go in there, man, and I take over. I got the banner. I mean, I go in, I take tables. I take over the place. Honestly, I'm kind of obnoxious, to be fair.
But it's freaking fantastic. And you are making the name for us. So, we're getting followers, one guest at a time from these shows.
Exactly.
And I love it.
And I had Vanu Kumar, he came on. He was one of the, and then he sent a message to me. He's like, wow. He goes, you have all these really interesting, smart people on. And I'm like, now going back and hearing all these shows. It's like, yeah, dude, we get really awesome people.
Well, listen, I've had tons of time on my hands lately to listen. So,
well, what do you think of the new game show?
So, okay, I'm a little upset with you because you didn't discuss it with me ahead of time. And it was, know how I found out about the new game show, Mr. Oshman?
How?
Freaking LinkedIn. You posted on LinkedIn that you had a new game show. And I'm like, what am I, like the last one to know?
Let's hash it out. You are the president of game shows here on the AOB.
Clearly not, because you just came up with a new one.
No, I came up with a new one. Let's just discuss this as the open. This wasn't planned, ladies and gentlemen. We had very funny personal stories, but we're gonna go here.
This is better.
I was going to the show at E-Tail, and I was thinking to myself, there's something. These shows are great. It's so amazing to sit at the table with these people around. There's just you can't.
Yeah, and being face to face and having a discussion is like none other.
But I'm like, God, this just needs a little something. And this is the God honest truth. You can ask my oldest daughter. I told her that. I go, when Haley's not there, when she doesn't run the game show, we don't have what's that keyword? I don't know. It just doesn't feel like an Always Off Brand episode. It really doesn't. I mean, we keep it fun and I have all the sound effects, but it's just I need something. And so and shout out Avery, my oldest. She helped me kind of come up with the acronym game. Name that acronym.
I mean, it's fun, and I've been listening, and it's fun. Don't get me wrong. I'm a little upset I wasn't part of it.
And I apologize to you here publicly. Okay. But here's my question. This is a backroom. This is a production meeting. Do you think we should put it in the fold? I want to talk to our director of game shows, Haley Brucker, about how do we fold this in?
Oh, we should do it by guest, because not all guests are in the acronym world like we
that's
are.
What makes it funny.
That's so true. Yeah,
the funniest thing is people come up with the weirdest shit. It's hysterical.
But that's what I mean. Like, if they know, if they're an Amazon expert, if they're a Walmart expert, whatever, like we can't give them one of the Amazon acronyms because they're going to know it. It's not going to be as fun. So like maybe we play it by scenario.
Then again, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't listed some, again, I have like 10, 20 minute, they're little tiny juicy nugget pops at E-Tail, these cool people. But the funniest thing is when they got them wrong, I started to feel bad when they kept getting them wrong. Like, okay, I'm going to give you some layups here. I'm going to give you a couple.
But that's when you got to make it funny, Scott. Like that's like, you got to have the zingers in there and kind of make it like, you got to make fun of them just a hair, It's so great. Today we're not going to play your game. I'm sorry. I have a keyword game.
No, I miss the keyword game. I miss it. You know what? I have a question. I have a whole thing about this whole AI thing. I mean, you know what?
Oh, there's so much going on.
Just hogwash. Okay. Everybody loves it. It in some ways it is, because it's just not being we're talking about it. Everybody's spending trillions of dollars on it. It's just not. I thought it was out of the hype cycle.
Oh, no, it's definitely not.
I just don't think it's quite. It's buzzy. It's great. Everybody loves it. People are getting laid off because of it. but I just don't think it's actually generated. It's not the boomerang yet. I'm not saying
Amazon just changed their algorithm though to be more AI based. It's like
everybody is.
But for Amazon to change their algorithm, I feel like that's kind of, they're going to set that industry standard now of, okay, who else is going to have the learning SEO,
as you record this, you know what else? Old Rufus.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Garbage.
Oh,
Rufus.
for sure. But have you seen the sponsored placements now that are showing up within Rufus?
Yes.
What the hell? All right. You know what? We're rambling.
We knew
Are we
that.
waiting on Summer?
Summer's
late today. She's got to drop her kid off.
I know.
Here's
a whole thing. We should pause the entire program at that time just to get her.
I need to get her the bus schedule for her school.
No, that's the problem. They can't take the bus. This is the whole thing.
Oh gosh.
I don't know if they can or can't. I think she was trying it. Actually, she was trying it. Anyway, we got logistics to talk about. Okay. The one thing I love about our show, Haley Brucker in the News, we've taken finance. We've taken the most boring, just nonchalant, like this stuff nobody really is interested in, wants to talk about it. And we've made it groovy and fun and hip and cool.
And that's why our podcast is way cool.
And by the way, we're back up to top 5. We're number 5 in the feed spot.
That's right.
5.
I love to hear it.
But that's why we brought him back, ladies and gentlemen. Start the music.
Here he is.
Guess I'll put him to the YouTube stage. Hailing from the Great Salt Lake City. He was on in early March, April, we're not sure, but he made logistics fun. He makes everything fun. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming back second timer to the Always Off Brand program, the COO of Pattern, Mr. Rob Hahn.
Thank you. I can't believe you had me back. I think I said, I don't know what's wrong with you, but I do enjoy the music.
We don't know what's wrong with him either, Rob. It's okay. We still love him.
I'm happy to be back. So I'm very honored. Thanks for the call back.
And for anybody who didn't listen the first time you were on, I told you this. I was like, oh God, we're having the COO guy. He's like a logistic guy. He wants to probably talk about trucks and forklifts and stuff. And I'm just like, this could go wrong. This could really, I don't know how we're going to pull anything out of this cat. But to our pleasant, you were fantastic. Absolutely. You're built for this, Rob Hahn.
I think the interesting thing is my whole career, it's been like, hey, I'm surprised you're not really boring. Like, that's my entire life. Like, I have to always fight this. Every conversation I have with someone is like, I think you're going to suck to talk to. And you're like, that's great. Okay, you're okay. Like, thanks.
That's so good. That's so good. And I'm sorry. On behalf of everybody, I'm sorry, Rob Hahn.
You know what? I get it. I try to make the fulfillment and logistics and moving stuff around the world a little bit sexier, and that's my mission. So you know what? It's part of the gig.
Oh, that's so funny. Well, welcome back. We're glad to have you back. And Pattern is moving and shaking. There's a lot going on. The old Pattern.
Lots going on.
But you are moving goods. Let's just talk about, okay? And again, everybody knows one of my favorite clients, Spangler Candy Company. We've engaged with Pattern. I want to disclose that. We're testing some Pattern on your middle mile project, your logistic product. Great people. Tyler and the gang, fantastic to work with. But you guys move so much freight. It's insane. I know you told us, but when I got in there, I'm like, wow.
It really is. It's kind of hard for people to conceptually understand. One of the things we do all the time is we're like, you have some understanding of like what your processes are, what your warehouse does, or your 3PL to get your stuff in. But like we invite people in very openly into our warehouses, because when you actually put your feet on the concrete, it's like, oh, this is completely different. Like we're not even in the same ball game as like, oh, I went to Seller Central, I printed my labels and I sent them to my like it is a completely different thing. We've got hardware, we've got software, we've got directed workflows. Nobody touches Seller Central. It really is. I mean, to be able to do tens and tens and tens of millions of units, which is like hard to even conceptually understand, but like we're shipping 25 whole truckloads every single day into Amazon. That's like a very hard thing for people to even understand. So it's a lot.
Speaking of 25 to 30 trucks a day, I got 25 trucks a day. There's a great Bob Seger song about that. Let's talk. I smoke 7 packs of cigarettes a day.
I used to smoke 5 packs of cigarettes a day. It was the hardest thing to put them away. I drank 4 or 5 bottles of wine. I kept a glass in my hand all the time.
You know that song, right? It was the hardest thing to put them away. Boom, boom. Anyway,
I wish I could sing with you though.
Yeah, that'll be.
You're on your own on this one.
We'll weave that in. Sorry, YouTube, copyright infringement. Rob, speaking of moving a lot of freight, I wanted to have you on in the September area because this is when moving stuff in for holiday on Amazon is beyond critical. I mean, Captain Obvious. What are you seeing? What's your pro tips? We need juicy nuggets. Rob Hahn, please bring it.
Okay. So
it's a big question.
They're like, can you just break down the entire logistics world for me in a few
minutes? Let's that's a fair point, Rob.
No, it's fine.
I'm a bad interviewer after 270 episodes. What are the biggest changes? Let's start there. What are the biggest changes that Amazon's made that you're having to adapt to, or that sellers and vendors are?
Yeah, I think so. As we think about last year was a shit show, right? Like it genuinely was, right? In the last 18 months, Amazon has made a bunch of adjustments to their inbound networks. They have national cross docks, regional cross docks, which now a lot more people know about. Placement fees, low inventory fees. They've added a ton of complexity, and that complexity has leaned almost exclusively pushing toward brands, right? That was kind of the 2024 Amazon logistics world, right? They launched a bunch of new cross docks late into the year, and it locked up the entire network. So I guess maybe we talk about a little bit like what's going to change, what's not going to change. What's not going to change is we still have nationals and regional cross. I think last time I was on, I was like, that's going to stay. That is a permanent-ish, because it's Amazon, but like it is a huge investment and a big change. So until it changes, it's a really foundational shift in the way they think about moving their inventory around the world, and specifically around the US. So that remains. There's always new cross docks coming on, but I do expect fewer of them than last year and a little bit earlier on, right? So we're starting to see some temporary ones come on, but last year they launched like 25 cross docks in September, in early October even, and that was insane, right? So
yeah, can I just put a sound effect in for that statement right there?
Hey, that's a new one.
Kind of. Is it any better? So is it going to be better, Rob Hahn? Is it better?
Yeah, I think there's portions of it that are going to be easier to navigate than last year. Okay. A couple things. So I'll swing back to your question about capacity, because it actually overlays kind of everything. There's multiple different types of capacity, and we can talk about that a little bit.
Well, we didn't hit record. Before we hit record, of course, I ask Rob everything that I want to know and solve all of my problems.
That's why I'm here. I don't even know if you're going to publish this. This might be like free consulting for you, right? Like I think that's.
Well, I'm not going to lie, but capacity is a major problem, and we saw through Prime Day. All of a sudden, everybody had to go pay the piper to get more storage, which was happening, but not on the scale that now everybody, it was like common.
Haley? And there were all the errors. At least we experienced errors within AWD. They weren't feeding as they were supposed to. So that flow just completely got blocked in a lot of scenarios.
Oh, we have AWD on the list.
We're going to talk about AWD.
Yeah, we won't. It's a little early for that, but you know what I mean.
This is what I think is the most fun about logistics and fulfillment is when you think about storage capacity. That's one of many different capacities that Amazon has, right? So there's receive capacity in national cross docks. There's truck storage dock capacity at FCs. There are so many different, there's outbound capacity by building. There's inbound capacity by building. It's a giant math problem. It is just it is a mind-blowing math problem to think about balance. How do you get the right stuff as close as you can to consumers? And so it is really quite difficult. Storage capacity is more than just, can I put it into warehouses? Storage capacity is actually about how much I can get out of a specific building in an FC for Amazon. So it's actually like, even if I had a physical place to put a thing, I'm not going to have capacity based on the turn of that item to get it into that, to be able to process it in time in order to be able to get it out the door and get the benefit of that item being in the network. So the math problem that we are thinking about as sellers, okay, I need to put more volume in. Amazon's doing this like 50-part capacity problem to say, if I get it into that area, can I get it out to a consumer? And if the answer is no, then that puts a different constraint, right? So if you think about capacity, that's what, think about inbound capacity for Amazon. You've got national cross-docks that now have been open for about a year. Some of those were existing ones, regional cross-docks that are now getting their feet underneath them. And so I expect this year to be slightly simpler from a capacity standpoint, but I don't think that we've solved like the LTL problem, for example. I think you're still going to have very long delivery times. There's still this like, I need to split 5 ways problem that seller, like many people, and again, you're using our middle mile product. This is people we talk to all the time, right? Is like, I need to go to 5 places, but I can't wait on LTL pickups and wait 35 days or something like that. Is going to happen. So I think it's slightly better than last year. The average for the seller was 34 days last year for getting something into Amazon. And I think it's slightly better, but not by much. We still have some of the same constraints we had last year. And national cross-docks adding 11 days non-peak. I expect that to go up over 14 days here coming up in the next few weeks, late September, early October. So I think we're having some of the same constraints we've had in previous years.
There's also, I've been noticing a higher error rate in the like receivables. So they're receiving an incorrect amount of goods versus what you've sent in. So there's tons of discrepancies too that you have to go do physical bin counts for. And then you're out another 2 weeks. If you're saying, hey, I'm missing 2 pallets of goods. How do you just misplace 2 pallets of goods? There's a lot of error within that receiving. So it's long and frustrating.
The number one thing in, like, if there was a lesson to be had that I give operators around like warehouse operations, it is don't touch shit. Like, if you can stop and remove touches,
hey, yeah, that's a juicy nugget right there.
It's just, it's so simple. But the reality is, this is one of the problems with Amazon's new network, right? Let's say you send something to a national cross-dock. It gets touched at the national cross-dock. And then it gets touched, so it gets received there, then it gets put onto a truck, and then it moves to a regional cross-dock, and it gets taken out of that truck, and it gets touched again, and it gets put into another truck, and then that truck moves to an FC that's actually going to warehouse that inventory, and then it gets taken out of that truck, it gets put into a tote, it goes to an associate who takes it out of that tote and puts it into a bin, and then a picker picks it out of that bin, and then they put it into a different bin, and then it travels across the warehouse, and then a packer takes it out of that bin, and like, you're touching the thing a trillion times.
Yeah. All right. So what's your pro tip for a seller? What would you tell our listeners?
Yeah. All right. Here's what we do. We operate on cartons. We actually don't, if you came into our warehouse, we ship in cartons. So we do fluid loading the vast majority of the time, and we intentionally create smaller, more frequent shipments that spread inventory across more FCs. So nobody loses 2 pallets because I don't send 2 pallets of the same thing in ever, because I have so much volume that I actually don't send to 5 fulfillment centers. We average something like 9 cross-docks or something like that on a specific item in a specific instance. And because I have density, I don't really care. So I guess if you boil that down, spreading out your inventory, if you can, but you have to have density. You have to be a big seller to do that thing, or work with somebody that has inbound density. But if you do that, it levels this receive out. Right? Because I don't have somebody lose 2 pallets. I might have somebody lose a box or 2 boxes, but the rest of those pallets have gotten in, they've gotten touched, they've gotten spread out throughout the network. So it reduces down the likelihood and the risk of something being stuck in a specific truck, being stuck at a cross-dock. So like, the reality is, it's hard for me to say, guys, the answer to this is just like, be bigger so you can have more density, or use somebody that is. But frequent shipments of smaller quantities to more cross-docks is really the only way you can unlock a more normalized long-term look at reducing the impact of losing 2 pallets or losing inventory.
Which doesn't bode well for high intensity, large volume seasonal goods.
No.
That is absolutely correct. It's very hard because if you have the combination of these things, right?
Yes.
I've got high density sales times.
Yep.
I have to ship them in early because if not, Amazon's not going to be able to distribute it well. I have to, right? Like you start adding these things up and you're like, well, I'm putting literally all of my eggs in one truck in this scenario. And if it's stuck, then I'm completely toast for my most critical part of time, or I lose a pallet during the time I can't replenish. So speed matters more than ever. That's the bottom line. Speed is far more important than almost any other thing for the first time kind of in Amazon's life cycle.
Well, as you say this, and thank you for walking through like the cross dock and all that.
Mhm.
That's like, warehouse talk, which, I need explained to me. But that's what they've been moving us to, right? And this is not only on sellers, this is vendors too. They don't want the goods in there. And this is over the years, they've gone back and forth on this, but they don't want weeks of cover sitting in the building. And they're incentivizing you because, again, October 1st, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not aware, your storage rates are going to go up 200+%. Like it's going to get crazy town. So, so you feel like it's going to be better. What I'm hearing is it's going to be a little bit better. But
on the inbound side, I don't know that the storage and capacity is going to be improved this year over past. I think we've seen I think basically Amazon has told us over the last few months, there's going to be more capacity constraints for this year. And we're accounting for that. We're expecting that. I would expect that to be, so again, that's why I'm talking about two different capacities.
Yeah.
Inbound capacity, I think, is slightly easier than last year. It's a little more ramped up, fewer new sites coming on board. But I would expect a bit of a pinch in over previous years, specifically in storage capacity. They've been telling us for months, right? They threw on ASIN limits. They threw on, I mean, why would they want to store more than they need to, right?
Right.
I think it's
what's it like shipping to Rob Hahn's house? Haley, this just hit me. It's like, does he get a box and he's like looking at every little sticker and he knows every code? I mean, do you just,
yes,
I almost want to go hang out with you and get something shipped to you and just watch you I don't know. I feel like you'd see the box and you would basically look into the box's eyes and know the entire history of that box.
It's a bit of a curse. Like it really is. Like I think being an operator in general, like I go into a restaurant, I play this fun game with one of my friends when we travel. One of the guys I work with, Andrew Bignell, he's super intelligent on my team. He ran North American supply chain for Amazon. Now he runs global supply chain for us. Super smart guy. We play this game when we're traveling the world, and it's people that can be replaced by signs. And it's just like, they're all over the place. I'm like, that could just be a sign with an arrow pointing that way. The same kind of thing, but shipping is 100 times worse. I get a box and I'm like, this is too much air. They could have checked this down. This could have been in the bag. Like, why are they doing, actually, okay, I bought something this morning. I don't know if I should say the brand or not.
Don't say the brand. No free ads here.
Okay, no brand. I bought a brand. It's like,
what category? What type of product?
It's an apparel. It was like here's the thing. I buy most of my stuff at Marshall's. I'm trying to up my game a little bit. I'm a single man. I'm divorced. I gotta like, this is just a plain red shirt. Like
listener, he's in a lovely looks like a high quality red t-shirt, listener. Looks good, looking sharp today.
Sure. But like it's a long sleeve. So it's like $100 shirt. I go to check out and they're like, the options for checking out was FedEx Ground on their Shopify store. And I'm like,
why?
What is this shit? Like, I'm going to spend 2 times the cost. It's not going to be any faster than if they use someone like, why aren't they using their West Coast? Why aren't they using like, it is a curse. It's a curse.
Do you drive by warehouses and just kind of pull over and you're like, do you just dissect a building in 5 minutes?
I don't have to stop, right?
Okay. So to drill this down into my simple brain, I'm like, so ship it in early and just suck it up with the storage fees? I mean, you just ship it often? What do you do?
Here's the problem with shipping early. I'm only bad news so far. Like I haven't given you
you're really cheering us up.
I'm all bad today. Here's the thing. Here's the problem. Haley, you talked about AWD and not sending in like correctly, right? So like AWD, have you guys ever used the replenishment algorithms? Amazon says you should send in X.
Oh God, I tried.
It's never right though.
Yeah, they're the math there. Whoever's doing the formula in there, we've talked about this before. There's something wrong. Really quick before you continue, LTL, that's large truckload. Like there's a lot of
Less than
less than a truckload. Excuse me. Thank you. Less than a truckload. The full truckload, the FTL, I know that one. The acronym game is being played as we speak, Haley. I just want to clarify, you use some terminology there. We try to break down here for people who are not in this life. But so, yes. Okay, go on with the more bad news. Thanks so much.
Okay, so he was talking about AWD. And
AWD, and it's like...
I don't want to talk about AWD yet, but the point is, regardless of the specifics, that algorithm that says you should send in X, guess what the algorithm is that's doing your placement? It's the same algorithm.
Oh, yeah.
So if you send in a bunch of stuff, let's say that you send in, because like Scotty, you know how much candy needs to be in order to do X, Y, and Z, right? The problem is this. Amazon says, I only need 100 of those, right? Because there's no demand for that, and I can't articulate how much demand that will be. So in Amazon's placement algorithm, they will say, I would like 100, but you're like, I need 1,000 of that thing, right? Because it's gonna lift. Your forecasting is wrong. I need to send it in. So you send it in. And when you send it in a big chunk, Amazon says, I need 100. So guess what happens to your 100? They say, for ease, I need 50 of these in New Jersey, and I need 50 of these in Los Angeles. But I've got 900 extra items that I don't give a shit about. I think these are going to rot and never sell because there's no demand signal for this. You sent me too much. I'm going to go send this to El Paso where it rots. Because fuck El Paso, right? That's what they end up doing. I always choose El Paso. I feel bad. If somebody
you do. I do remember that from last time. You just absolutely right. Just kill El Paso.
It has this thing where everybody remembers El Paso. It's sticks with people. I don't know why I chose it a few years ago. The point is, what they will do, this is the same problem in AWD or anything else. You'll end up getting to the point where you've sent in a lot at a time. You'll pay extra storage fees on that, right, during Q4, the whole time until it sells. But more importantly, your stuff will not get close to customers if you send in a big chunk early. That is the much bigger problem because your conversion, your ad effectiveness, your ability to win buy box, all of those things are determined by how close you are to the end consumer. And that is, if you send in a big chunk right now, they don't know where it's going to sell November 18th. There's just no chance that they know that information. And so they will put it in El Paso, Texas.
That's so frustrating because if you've got a new ASIN that doesn't have sales history from its past peak season, then, that's screwed right there. Or if maybe you were out of stock last season and now you're peak season. So I always have this really frustrating relationship with the Amazon forecasting models. Like over in Vendor, we get the P70, we get the P90. They never are correct. Yeah. They never match the POs that Amazon is issuing. And it's wildly frustrating. And then, they've cut us off recently of, hey, well, okay, we do need to send in 1,000 units because 100's not enough. Well, okay, now we don't have that ability anymore to create, for most accounts, Summer, to create those born to run orders. Because maybe she has Summer's here. Hi,
Summer.
Let's interrupt and say hi to Summer.
No, I don't want to interrupt. I'm catching up. I feel like this is a marathon, and I'm joining in, trying to catch up to you guys.
Yeah. Okay, well, cool. The point is, you're darned if you do, darned if you don't.
Yeah. Thanks, God. I was rambling, but yes.
No.
So, but that is true. For even for vendor, right? Vendor or seller, it's the same kind of problem that their algorithm is built for everyone, so it's not built for anybody. And you end up with this situation where you're this is using averages, right? And so I don't get to the point where it never works specifically for me. It's really quite tough.
It doesn't work for anybody, Rob.
Well, shockingly, if you look at the millions and millions and millions, billions of packages, it actually works more often than after hearing this discussion you would think. But we're going to take a quick break. We're going to welcome back Summer Jubileer to the program right after this. More with Rob Hahn. There's got to be some good news in here, Rob. There's got to be something good you're going to bring out to us.
It's all bad news. I'm not even going to give you a little bit of hope.
Hi, I'm Joanna Wallace. I'm the founder of Creative RX Consulting, and welcome to Always Off Brand Podcast.
Okay, so back to all-wheel drive. Okay, Rob, AWD, it's part of a year and a half ago, maybe, well, I don't remember. They put out this entire Amazon supply chain, really nice little flow chart, and it kind of explained where they're going. They want to be your third-party logistics. They want to be the UPS, the FedEx, the name the biggest warehouse. They want to be everything to you. And they don't care if you're shipping it to Amazon. They want to ship to everybody. And one of the parts of that is this Amazon warehouse and distribution go. You said it was terrible before. Where are we now?
What I will say is I have said it's terrible in the past, and I will update that and say it is still terrible. It hasn't been. Here's the thing. It works for some very specific purposes. But generally, I think the intent is, I think AWD generally for a US-based brand is the vast majority of the time, it is a defect. You're solving the wrong problem generally. Because what you want is to avoid crazy storage fees. You want to avoid placement fees. You want to get better, coverage in the US. You want to reduce complexity in your warehouses. And so the way I think about this is like, you're solving this problem that we've solved through speed and through size and through density and through technology. And instead they're like, look, if you can't do that, then send it to AWD and we'll do our best. But the foundational thing, there are a lot of good things. You're like, oh man, storage is a third of the price or whatever, that's half of the price, whatever that's going to be. Oh, they can distribute it. I don't need to pay placement fees. I can send it all in one truck. All those good things. The reality is on Amazon, the name of the game at this point is getting things as close to your end consumer at the right time, at the right place. And that is it. Like that is like the biggest thing. And that's why I come back to speed is the thing that matters most. AWD is, they shut people off on the West Coast. Well, last year, I mean, Haley, if you were talking about this, right? Last year they did it in August. This year,
They just shut it off?
yeah, like they didn't accept any more. They were like, sorry, you're on your own. We can't take any more to the West Coast, which is like the only place that matters because most of it, the value is right coming in through China to the West Coast. So they just said, we don't do that anymore. Sorry, you're on your own for Q4 of last year.
Oof.
That's not going to not happen again. The problem is that even if you do get in, the algorithms that are feeding in that distribution are going to be worse than your ability to replenish Amazon fresh into cross-docks with inventory as close to when the sale happens. So I think the foundational stuff, there's a ton of good stuff about AWD, but the outcome that you want is actually the right thing in the right place at the right time. And I do not believe that AWD is the best solution for that for the vast majority of brands. It is I can't figure this out, so I'm going to use the easy button, but the easy button has costs associated on the back end. And I think you're not in the business of storing inventory effectively at Amazon. You're in the business of selling on Amazon.
Right.
So I think that's the big problem with AWD for me is it is still a defect. It is still a suboptimal solution, even though it's the best solution for some people. It's still suboptimal in the grand scheme of things.
And then, if say you import, all of your Q4 goods at once, and then in theory, maybe you've got 80% of that inventory in Amazon's hands. I think that's too many eggs in one basket. You're trusting Amazon a little too much because what happens if they
That's
misplace
exactly
the
right.
inventory or they shut
There's
off?
multiple
There's so
capacities.
many different variables in there.
And AWD is a simpler, like if you went into an AWD facility, it is a much simpler thing than like an FC or even a cross-dock. It's more of a traditional warehouse, right? You're sending things in, they're taking a pallet, they're storing that pallet, they're storing the inventory. And then there's still three capacities that need to happen. There's still an inbound capacity. I need to be able to receive the goods. There's a storage capacity. I need to be able to put enough into the racks. And there's still an outbound capacity. I need to be able to pick it and ship it out to the FCs. And then you're still playing the capacity game of which FCs have capacity, or I'm sorry, which FCs, but also which cross stocks then that go from AWD have them. You're not avoiding steps. You're just losing control of those steps. And I think that is, for so many brands, it's something that could be better than what they had before, but it is still not good. And it's definitely not great.
It sounds like it's a Band-Aid. It's a Band-Aid until you can internally hire the right people and get a plan in place, is what I'm hearing.
Or find the right partner, right? Like, and we work with so many brands that do this, but that's I think the hard part, Summer, is this knowledge is quite concentrated still. Like, this is not a commoditized world, right? Like, not all 3PLs created the same, not all shippers into Amazon are created the same. And so, like, for you even to hire someone that has this expertise is for most brands, even big brands, like, it's not even a possibility. Right? Many of us that have this experience don't even want to go work at a single brand, right? Like it's very hard, very concentrated knowledge still.
I will say again, we've been testing Amazon Warehouse Distribution, AWD. We've been testing it, but again, I talk about Spangler Candy Company. They're a unicorn. They're just different. They don't have a 3PL. They do everything in house. They're all their stickering and everything's in production. It's all comes off the line. They're just different. So we're using it for very specific, and I think that's kind of the lesson here. I know we know how you feel about AWD, but it's not WD-40, so don't get that confused. But it's just, you got to look into these things. To your point, to everyone's point, you got to have the right people understanding exactly, and you got to test it to see what it's really going to useful for. And there's a bunch of hidden trap doors. Hey, I'm going to not have placement fees. Fantastic. Hey, it doesn't affect my FBA, my Fulfilled by Amazon capacity. It actually does. It doesn't originally, but it still has to go from there to there. And if you're full up at the end, it won't replenish.
And then you don't have it, and you don't have the inventory.
And you don't have the inventory.
Amazon facility, right? And so let me ask you a question.
Oh, hey now.
So I don't foundationally disagree that there are situations where it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, and again, there is a good, better, best situation, right? So, or bad, good, better, best, right? So like some people that have been in bad situations before say, hey, this is a better situation, even though it's not optimal, I'm going to use AWD, right? Like there are situations where it's going to make sense for some brands. Why, like what situations are you finding that it's super helpful?
It just, if you have I'm just biased by my experience. So we have if you have 6 weeks to sell millions and millions of dollars and huge amount of units of product, and it starts and it ends, it's over. Like there's no going back. Okay. But at the same time, again, this is a unique situation. We have candy canes. Well, we sell a lot of candy canes in an extraordinarily short period of time. At the same time, all of our other catalog items are selling really, really well and are very high volume, high turn, high demand. So hence, you're sitting there going, oh, we can get the candy canes in, but guess what? We have 6 other top items. There's no capacity. We can't get them in. I can't even create an order for it.
Right.
So
I mean, to be fair, Rob, you did say there are some cases.
I agree. But here's the thing. I do tons of seasonal product. Right. Like I have that profile that you just mentioned. We do a bunch of that, right? Like hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars of that specific type of product every single year. And like the way that we do that is we've invested a lot in our forecasting algorithms to know exactly when, but our speed's insane. Like we average 4 days to get it into Amazon's network. And that speed means like the general principle is send it into Amazon as close as as close as you responsibly can to the demand as possible. Because that is how, right? Like that's generally how you can do that.
There's a couple things, because the system is generated by demand. It's demand. This is a high velocity, high demand product. So again, the systems are set up to like this. They want this in because it's going to turn really, really fast. The other big thing here, when I looked at this and coming into this year, one of our biggest challenges and strategic things that I've talked to Pattern about, that I've talked to a billion people, is we needed more options from the brand and the event. This is vendor and seller, by the way.
Yep.
The cost of fulfilling product, logistics, warehouse, shipping, freight, everything had gone up, and storage fees had gone up so dramatically. On top of, if you want to talk tariffs and all the other margin compression things that are happening in the world, our freight cost, our inbound, outbound, and freight cost was at a extraordinary level. It actually hurt our margins. So the goal this year, and I guess I would say with whether it's Pattern, whether it's AWD, whether it's some other thing, I don't like selling on Amazon and having zero options and zero control as a brand owner. I hate that. I've hated it for 20 years. So what we wanted to do is throughout the year, we've looked into different things and we're testing things to go, okay, we have flexibility. Okay, we found for a single pack, this particular unit, we're going to put that in AWD, put an auto replen on, and that's okay. We're going to use Pattern because, again, the speed, we're testing. Again, we don't know until the speed happens in holiday.
Yep.
And then also it depends on where you're sending freight. You guys have your own freight company, which people don't, I didn't even know that you have your own freight company, and you have very competitive pricing on that. So that's another great option for us to have in our back pocket. So long-winded as usual. That's we're trying to come. I honestly don't think. I think we're going to earn some points back, but you can't avoid the storage fees. I don't know how to avoid the storage fees other than, again, we're going to try and mitigate that with sending smaller units in.
That's the thing. It's speed. Because if we're super stupid fast in, then you can carry less inventory and you avoid cost on storage. Right? Like that is something that we do. We carry significantly less overall stock than anybody else.
That's why I called you.
And that's what you're able to do, right? You're able to keep cash because we're so consistently fast. It's not just fast, it's consistently fast.
Yeah.
It's knowable speed, which is actually more important than anything else, right? So we're able to keep weeks and weeks and weeks of supply less than other people. And when we replenish, it's going to the Jerseys and the LAs and it's skipping the El Pasos. Like speed, I said that at the beginning, right? Like speed matters so much for in-stock rates, for getting it to for the correct placement, but also you're talking about a capacity thing. If you're able to keep overall stock lower, you can send in more frequent shipments of the stuff that you need across all of your SKUs if you can carry less. And it's a cash good guy, right? So speed matters in this world in a way that it has never.
And I think that's the juicy nugget is speed, speed. That's
I
right?
think it's 3P sounds awful, and I am so glad not to be in it. That's what I'm hearing.
It is, but it's not. I mean, there's pros and cons to both sides.
Yeah, I would agree.
This fulfillment side is exhausting.
Here's
You need a whole, like you were saying, Rob, you need a whole person dedicated to this. It is so much work.
But on the vendor side, it's hard as heck to for them to order what they should be ordering. It's like that's another challenge.
Yeah.
Here's a little tidbit on the 1P side. So the way that they push people through, the way that Amazon does the like changes in fulfillment, they always test with 3P. So for example, like there's a new API this year, they like all the vendor or all the 1P going through Amazon's network was going to national cross stocks. They weren't going to the regionals for a long time. They're starting to introduce to regionals. So the complexity starts with 3P. They figure that out, and then they push that eventually to 1P.
Right.
So the operational requirements are actually going to get more complicated for both vendors and sellers, but sellers get for the brunt end of it, and then vendors will come along the back end of it.
Well, that was my next question. It's like, and we're gonna get you out here on this as far as what's coming, the next thing in the supply chain thing. But it leads me all these things that I'm dealing with on the 3P side. I'm like, well, their AWDs, some version of AWDs got to be coming to 1P because wasn't the whole motivation is, listen, we got 62% of our units coming through the North America is 3P units. These guys suck at it. They send us the wrong shit, the too much shit. So we want to take more control, send it to AWD, and then we will control the flow, right? Isn't that the precipice of the premise?
Yeah, but for 1P, Amazon, they get to buy, right? They get to dictate. So they don't want to put things. Actually, when I started at Amazon back in the day, they were called DAs, delayed allocation centers. They didn't have cross stocks. It either went directly to the FC, and that's where I was in the receive world, right? So like my first years at Amazon were I was received, and like that was my like area of the warehouse. But we would get things direct from vendors. Like it would come straight somewhere from you and come straight to me. And I was an FC. I stored and shipped the product to consumers. They changed that. They said, okay, let's go DA. So they would be like, oh, send it to a delayed allocation center, which is basically AWD. It's the exact same.
It's like, is it El Paso? Is that what?
Yeah, honestly, fucking El Paso.
Out in the West Texas town of El Paso.
The problem, the thing is that they're not going to do that. They have no incentive.
Yeah.
I would much rather say, Summer, I am going to buy 100 this week and 3,000 next week, and you have to deal with that complexity. I'm not going to go store it in a warehouse and do they killed that. That was literally, what year is it? That was, I don't know, 13 years ago or something like that. They killed the DA model for vendors, and they're not going to come back.
All right, what's the big supply chain? Yeah, they own the product. They want to own less. I mean, it's evident they want to own less and less and less and less.
And they are better than anybody at that thing that I said before around their own stuff that they own, and that is how the last responsible moment I went to buy this before the demand, right? They are getting better and better and better at that, but they're not actually helping others get better at it. But they are getting better at that thing, and that complexity then pushes toward Summer and Co. to make sure that they can handle the fulfillment complexity. That's not going to change, I don't think.
What's the next big thing with the big monster strategic supply chain and taking over the rest of the world? Obviously, their new grocery, their fresh delivery thing, that's a huge.
Yeah, they just expanded that.
Yep, big time. I think I think that Amazon will continue. The thing that has worked for them is fast delivery speeds. They're going to try to get more same-day delivery, more next-day delivery. It has a massive conversion lift over 2-day on that platform. Because when people come, if they go to your Shopify, so they're not expecting same-day delivery, next-day delivery, or even 2-day delivery. But when they go to Amazon, that consumer is expecting more and more speed. So they're going to keep investing in more warehouses closer to where the humans live. I think that is definitively true. But I think getting it into Amazon's network, I think we're going to continue to see some investment in the inbound function. They were like, all right, here's the new network. That was 2024. 2025, they're like, let's just not move, and they can't see us. I think 2026 more. Amazon LTL, for example, less than truckload, right? They launched this last year. They've now, we were in a beta with them. We were doing that process for a while, and now it's pretty public. Anybody can use Amazon LTL. They just added 80 new locations last week or something like that. They're going to continue to expand to try to get more control without having to warehouse these stuff in AWD. So I think we're going to see more and more, how do I make it a little bit easier and a little bit cheaper on the inbound side to Amazon, a little bit for brands. But I think the complexity remains on how do I send in, what do I send in? But I think they're going to try to ease that just a little bit through expanding some of those other services. The one thing that we didn't even talk about is January 1st, 2026, they're not doing prep anymore.
I was afraid. Okay, so I read about this while I was on vacation, and I was like, oh, they probably already talked about it. I'm dying to talk about this because holy cow, this affects so many brands. It's a huge deal. So let's tell for the listeners who maybe didn't catch this on LinkedIn yet, what's happening? Yeah,
so Amazon, God, I can talk about this forever. This is going to be too long. You guys are going to have to cut this entire, I don't know. You have to cut something else out.
Maybe we'll have a two-parter. You just never know.
Never know. This is actually a very impactful change. It is one of the biggest changes happening in the Amazon ecosystem. So Amazon announced now about a month ago or so that starting January 1st, 2026, they will not do any item level prep in their warehouses for 3P sellers. And basically what that means is if you rely on them to do bagging or bubble wrap or labeling or stickering or whatever those other prep processes are, if you send something on January 2nd in, they're probably going to wad it up and throw it in the trash. They're not going to provide those prep services anymore. They're going to charge back, but it's not a thing that's going to happen anymore. So it's a huge shift
and it feels like they really didn't give people a lot of time. That's a big shift to have to figure this out.
My experience, I went through, I thought they shut this down actually a year ago. I thought I had sellers that were paying them 51 cents to sticker the FNSKU and all this other stuff. And they just said, no, we're not doing it anymore. And by the way, they were terrible at it. So they should stop it because they're really bad at it.
Well, yes, but there's lots of reasons why they don't do it. Also, acronym game. Scotty, what's FNSKU stand for? Fulfillment
Network. I don't know.
Stock keeping unit. You were very most people wouldn't get fulfillment network. That's the hard
network stock keeping unit, and I should know stock keeping unit is SKU.
Anyway, Yeah, so Amazon, I mean, the genesis of prep in general, well, Amazon created the most complex environment for sellers. Like if you send something to Walmart, for example, you don't need to sticker it like traditionally, right? They just use the UPC. They were like, we don't have anything else. Amazon originally was like, we can't have your UPC and my UPC because we don't have an inventory ownership layer between the two. They created that later, Amazon Virtual, right? Like the commingling.
The commingling, which was awful.
We use commingling all the time and it works great. There's a ton of changes. They invested a bunch in it in the last few years. Originally, I would say, in my opinion, that's some old tapes. It's much better today than it was.
Look at him being positive. Ring the bell, Scott.
Wow,
Look at
did you
Rob
just
being
say something is
positive.
good? I want to.
Good.
I need to
When I was
schedule.
doing it, it was
It's
awful.
good.
But I had a consumable product, and I feel like consumables can be really tough when you're mingling.
It does depend. Again, we could do an entire podcast on commingling and how Amazon does virtual tracking and everything else. But to get back, like when they started this process out, vendors were like, or sellers and vendors, like they were like, I don't even know. I can't label this. Why would I put your sticker on it? Like, it has to be bagged when I send it to you. It feels so normal now, but at the time when they did this 15 years ago, it was completely different from every retailer in the world.
Yeah.
So they said, okay, let's reduce the friction. I'll do that for you if you pay me. So they built the entire prep network around. But like the whole ecosystem is like, we do prep for like half of the units we process at this point are somebody else's product, right? Like that flow through our network that we do prep, that the entire ecosystem for shipment creation and prep and everything else have completely changed. And so Amazon now is tapping out and saying, you guys are probably better at it. You're probably gonna be cheaper. They increased the rates on it 2 or 3 years ago. And then everybody was like, okay, I'll pay that, I guess, which I think surprised them.
Yeah.
I think the reality is like, it's a completely different ecosystem surrounding Amazon inbound today. And so they're saying, hey, I want to make the most of every square foot in my warehouse. It's the slowest process. Like it is actually 25% the speed of a normal standard process at a receive station in an Amazon facility. It is dramatically slower than that. And then if you go to auto receive, it is like a tenth of the speed. So if they're trying to get through warehouses and make the most of square footage, I think it actually makes tons of sense for Amazon. And I think the reality is they did kind of suck at this sometimes. And I think many brands that choose to go with someone else is going to be, if they choose the right partners, right? Like there's a lot of us out there now that can do this really, really well. And they're going to see lower cost and probably better quality.
But I was just going to say, Rob, do you think some of these like scummy 3P sellers are going to have to bow out because they can't get their product in now?
I think that, I don't know. What I will say is I think that they will definitely need to find a new place for it. And that's either going to be manufacturing. I think it's going to be like, it increases friction for the scummy random shitty sellers that are like finding things that fall off the back of a truck. And that's good generally for brands. And I think it's good for Amazon. So I do generally think it's a good thing for sure. It's just, to your point, brands have a few months at a pretty critical time to figure out how to navigate this. And so we've done a giant push on this. Is like, we're like, hey, Rob, this is all we do.
Rob, this only affects 3P, right? Because they're still going to have to do it for a vendor.
For today,
exactly.
This is exactly what I said earlier. Yes, but correct. They do. But again, they usually use the UPC in the.
Yeah, but when I get the product delivered to me, I see that there's been a sticker put on it.
On the individual item?
Yeah.
Only sometimes. Usually for vendor items, they are going to be UPC. They use UPC for, like, Amazon has boos and X's. So if you actually get an item and that label has a B00 or an X00, an X00 is always a third-party item, a first-party item that is either a B00 could be a commingled third-party item, or those are going to be those, or it's going to use the UPC. So that's like Amazon's infrastructure for labeling. But generally, they do not label they use vendor. UPC every time they can for vendor. The times that won't be true is if they're creating a multi-pack, they're going to put a boo on it. If they're going to do bubble wrap, they're going to put a boo on it, right? Like that kind of thing.
Maybe it's the bubble wrap. Okay.
And those, you're absolutely correct. Those will have labels on them. So your foundational point, they will still do this for vendor because they have to.
For now.
For vendor. For now. That is not a guarantee that they will do that in the future. They may start requiring vendors to send things in that are ready to ship, just like they're doing 3P. They do this. This is through all of time. This is the thing they do, right? They do it in sellers, then they force vendors over time.
We got a game show we need to play, and we got a lot to get to. We'll come back. Summer, you're late. We're glad you're here. We missed you. Getting the band back together.
That feels good.
Feels fantastic. What's that keyword coming up right after this?
Hi, I am Scott Wingo, serial entrepreneur. Current company is called RefiBuy.ai. And then I also do a lot of podcasting. You may know me for the Jason and Scott Show and then also Retail Gentic. Welcome to the Always Off-Brand Podcast.
Finally, a game show nerdier than an Excel V lookup. It's time for What's That Keyword? Here's your host, Haley on the news.
Rob stuck around to play What's That Keyword? All right, since you're new here, I'm going to lay down the rules. I'm going to give you a product that is sold on Amazon.com, and you have to guess the keyword or keyword phrase that has converted for this product. So what did the customer type in to buy the product? Little pro tip, maybe you think outside the box. It might not be traditional. Might be dirty. You never know what's going to happen on the AOB. All right. Your first product today is a yoga ball.
Yoga ball. Okay. Rob.
All right. Come on. Guests first. Rob.
Okay, a yoga ball.
A yoga ball. What did somebody type in to buy a yoga ball?
I would say comfortable desk chair.
All right.
Ooh.
That's a good one, but you're wrong. All right, Summer.
Come on.
You stole mine.
I'm going to be boring. I'm just going to say exercise ball.
Oh,
Yoga ball. What? Back to school ball? I don't know. Rob stole mine, so I got nothing.
I was looking for anti-burst exercise ball. Anti-burst exercise ball. That's a long tail keyword for those SEO nerds out there.
I don't even understand.
Why are these balls all
Anti-burst.
bursting?
God,
I did
Summer
buy
said it.
I did buy an exercise ball over Prime Day.
Yeah,
Did
I don't
you,
even
did you
think.
buy the Amazon Basics one?
Probably.
Does it explode? Like,
I know. Now I'm worried it's going to burst when I'm doing my sit-ups on it.
I
didn't
mean,
know.
this kind of makes me wonder. I mean, if there's some sort of weight limit involved in a yoga ball. So it's actually in the title. It's
Oh,
an
yeah,
Amazon
this is what I
Basics
bought.
product. But anti-burst was quite literally one of the top entered in phrases here, which is probably
I
why it's
just
in the
had
title.
no idea bursting exercise balls was a problem.
You know, I was waiting for somebody to go there. Nobody did. All right. Here we go. Your next product. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so we don't cheat.
Yeah, no, I got you.
We can't see it.
Okay, cool. All right. Your next product is a Halloween Oreo pack.
Go on, say that again.
A pack of Halloween
Like-
Oreos.
Like the orange filling, right?
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Halloween
Oh.
Oreos.
I would say I'm just gonna go Halloween snack. I mean,
Okay. Nope. No. You didn't come here to win today, Rob. Anybody else?
I don't want to go now. My brain is like, normally I'm like really quick with these, but I am dead. I'm going to say
Yeah.
unique trick-or-treating treats.
Why is that unique?
The Halloween theme.
I'm with you, Summer. I think you did great.
Thanks, Rob.
Now he's just kissing ass. He's losing and kissing ass.
Okay,
All right,
okay.
Scott.
Halloween Ozempic killer.
You didn't even try.
Do I ever try?
You used to until you got on such a long losing streak.
Oh, y'all are
Good
cracking
name.
me up today. Okay, I was looking for fall party cookies.
Oh wow! Oh wait, hold on. That was
I mean, that one was kind of
That was obvious. That was so
Duh.
obvious.
I mean, I said Halloween snack. Like,
Yep.
I'm, like not super far off though.
No, but fall. Oh my
No,
god.
fall party
Like,
cookies.
dum-dum.
Okay.
fall party cookies. Wow. Okay.
I knew y'all would do that. All right. That was so much fun. We didn't have a winner today, but We'll play again another time, Rob, when you come back. And we'll be right back in just a digital second with the news.
This is John Durkitz, Chief Commercial Officer of Colormore Lines. You're listening to Always Off Brand.
Well, that's all been fun and games, but it's that time, the time America has been waiting for. It's time for the news.
Oh, all right. And just in case anybody's been under a rock for the past, 6 months, year, let me enlighten you. Walmart is sort of a sleeping giant. Walmart sellers, the Walmart marketplace, if you're not playing around over there, I think you're missing out on tons of opportunity because it's like Amazon circa, I don't know, what do you guys think? Like 5 to 7 years ago? I mean, I feel like it's really sort of in its infancy still, but it is a sleeping giant and it is a completely different audience for your consumers. Well, they're doing some really neat things over there. And I've done business on Walmart, the marketplace. I've done 1pwalmart.com business. So I've been doing Walmart for quite a while. But how hard is it? What is everybody's dream if they have a brand on Marketplace Walmart? What is the end goal for everybody?
Sales.
To get into stores.
Thank you. Yeah,
Get into
Rob nailed it.
sales,
Hey,
yeah.
you got one right today. Congratulations.
Hey, hold on. Let me get the bell back.
First of all, it's sales too. Come on.
Oh, sure. But I think everyone's long-term goal when they think about Walmart is to have their product on the shelf.
Yeah, of course.
So there's a couple different new programs. And a big reason why I'm highlighting this news story today is because I feel like I need to get the word out too, that this is an entirely huge untapped opportunity for your brand. So there's a couple different things that Walmart is offering now. One of them is a seller advisor program. And this is not exactly a direct line to the merchant for the category. The merchant is the buyer over at Walmart who decides what products to put on the shelf for their category, just in case somebody doesn't know that. You can actually get advisors who are just a subsidiary of the merchant to advise you on your product, your pricing, your product, your placements, your branding, your packaging. There is now communication that you can have with the Walmart merchant team. And I think that's really neat. And you can do that through the marketplace.
So I can't tell if Rob's just like rubbing off on me, but I feel like Amazon did this with their 3P and it was such a waste of time.
Yeah, but now they're like, nobody can come into vendor unless you're
bazillions
of dollars.
Yeah. I have very low expectations.
Yeah, but I do think it's kind of neat. And hey, listeners out there, if anybody tries this program, write us. Let us know. Maybe we can talk about it. But I just think it's kind of a cool opportunity. Okay.
Here's what
Bursting my bubble. Summer.
Here's what I say. I will actually give Summer. I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to give some positive view. Walmart, I don't think is 5 to 7 years. I'll start with negative. I'll go positive.
Fair.
I think they're more like 10 to 12 years behind. But they have made some significant investments and changes internally in the last 12 months with the humans that are leading that team. So actually, Dave Gugina leads e-commerce now. I worked with him at Amazon. He's a super, super smart guy, fantastic human being. He is very good. And he's like, I don't know if I just say he's probably pipelined to lead that over time. He's very, very good. The team they have over US marketplaces is a new team. They have invested a lot of money in really great people that will eventually, it takes time culturally, but they will get to this kind of idea. Maybe this one wins, maybe it fails or whatever, but they have some really great humans that they've invested in the last 12 months that I think are going to expedite the how important that channel is.
Yeah, and the category advisors now aren't just in store; they're also looking at .com only. So I think that is
actually combined that in some of the areas. It's actually quite. I agree. I think that's actually a very foundationally.
It's freaking fantastic.
My only thing to add to this is just real quick is recently one of our brands have been working with. We have some brands that work with Walmart in a pretty large scale. Anyway, my point is that the merchants who now, this is 3-4 years ago, I don't know if it was before COVID, but the merchants that buy the things for the store are now in charge of .com as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at first it was like, okay, they didn't really know about it. They knew about it and they understood it, but they weren't set up to succeed there. I can tell you that now they are really deep in it. They get it. Believe me. In fact, they're having one of our brands had us come in to see what the actual digital advertising, geo-targeting, what were we doing to support this outside of Walmart to drive traffic into their .coms and also the stores. So I'm with Rob. They hired a bunch of smart people. I mean, in hindsight, if they would have done this 15 years ago, instead of buying Jet, they'd probably be a lot farther along.
That's why I'm screaming. This opportunity for a brand could be huge. And obviously it's very different customer segments at a Walmart. Like you're not going to copy and paste your Amazon information over into Walmart and necessarily be successful. So huge stories coming out of Walmart, so pay attention. All right. That was fun. I appreciate you guys. Let's be right back with Summer's, by far, Summer's most favorite part of the show. It's the wrap up, folks.
This is Shannon Roddy, Head of Business Development at Avenue 7 Media, and you are listening to Always Off Brand.
I always think about Aton Buckman, and he was like, fulfillment and sexy. Like, let's make it sexy. And
freight is sexy. Yeah, his big freight was sexy.
I could talk about freight fulfillment all day long because it's just fascinating to me, like that anything makes it on the shelves here.
It is true.
The amount of things that break and the tools you need and the people, and it's just like, it's impressive when it actually gets to the end consumer.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is actually. We complain we're in it, but all things go wrong. But when you look at the big picture, it's amazing. The shit gets delivered.
Are you burping? Are you hiccuping? Like
I'm grepsing. I am. I'm grepsing a little bit.
Grepsing. That's a good word.
Grepsing is a Yiddish word for burping.
I love it. We got to have a Yiddish moment every now and then.
All of a sudden, your mic just went away.
Is it back now?
Now it's
back.
Yes,
because I was boop.
Yes, Rob Hahn. I love him. Love having him on. He knows about fulfillment. He understands moving freight. You're on.
Sure does. All right. Well, thanks for allowing Haley and I to actually be on the call with Rob this time. We appreciated it. It was great getting to add another person to our network because why?
Because people matter.
That's right. And you're listening to Always
Brand.
Please like, please subscribe, please share. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Toodaloo.
Hey there, this is Haley from Quickfire, and they want me to read this so you know what this podcast is part of and how to find out more if you want. Always Off Brand is a production of Quickfire LLC and a part of the Learn and Laugh series on the Quickfire Podcast Network. For more information, go to quickfirenow.com. Have a good one, and thanks for listening.